Hey, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Okay, something I did not do before I went. It's saying that's what my current blood sugar is at, is 8.3. So we'll press yes, and it's being received. So that's showing 8.3 as my new insulin, and we're calibrating here. So it's all good. So 8.3, still within reason, all the way across. So looking pretty damn good. I have 2.5 units of insulin. I've come down from 11 earlier this morning. So we're all raring to go. Current blood sugar is at 9.1. We're a little bit higher here. We're 3% higher than where we should be. So we're going to need to work on that today. This is still acceptable, even though we were trying to get to zero amounts, but all good. We have 91% time in range, matches that number. Imagine that. Average blood sugar is 7.4. This number is an awesome number. Now, today we want to discuss time management, and does it play a role in your diabetes care plan? So if you have any stories relating to how you manage time and your diabetes care, list below. Thank you. So we'll be right back. This channel is provided for informational purposes only. Contact your physician for any diagnostic or treatment plan. So how does time management play a part in your diabetes care? Well, I'm going to tell you a story that was on, I think it was Happy Days. Chachi, the character, got diagnosed with diabetes, and Fonzie's idea to solve everything was to give him a watch that he could set with alarms, and that solved everything. And people just, oh, well, that's how easy diabetes control would be, is you just need to get a watch with alarms. Well, nowadays, we have this little device with clocks, with alarms able to be set into it. But time management diabetes plays so much more than just, oh, my alarm went off, I better go do it. To, what about going getting tests done? Eating right, planning out your meals, shopping, doing your testing. They all play a part in your diabetes care. Now, the jury's sort of out on how long it takes for a new lifestyle choice to become a habit. Some say 30 days of repetitive motion will ingrain it in your brain. I've also seen where it says 90 days. But you know you've reached habit status when you get up, you do your blood sugar, you make your breakfast, oh, it's Tuesday, I've got to sit down, plan my meals out for the week. And it all automatically happens. You don't need to have to keep referring, oh, I did that. Whoops, let's check another, oh, I got to check another thing off. Did that, okay, did that. Then you know it's habit forming. And it's a good habit. Now, how many of you actually, plan out your eating schedules? I don't anymore because it's sort of like done for me here. But it's important that you plan out what you're going to eat in a week. Reduces shopping. It can also reduce waste. But it allows you to prepare meals easier and without sort of getting all the fast foods, the fats, the hidden sugars, the salts. Because remember, we have the 90-10 rule. That will help you stay on your 90-10 rule. So, planning out your life does not necessarily, and I've said this in videos in the past, does not rule out the spontaneity of life. I know for years at the office, I would have a suitcase packed because at a split notice, there'd be a problem somewhere in Western Canada with a training issue that I would have to answer. And I could just leave from home, go there, deal with the training. If I had to, I would buy a new pair of pants or whatever, but your diabetes should be raring to go. That's why I've always talked to you about, and it's kind of roundabout way of time management, that you have your, excuse me for what I had a sneezing fit there. I just had to stop. But your go bag, your diabetes go bag, which you have pump supplies, you have extra insulin in, that you're ready to take if you leave your house. I have mine in a backpack I take with me. Even if I have to go for a doctor's appointment, I take the supplies with me. Some people even put a change of clothes in there. Gee, a diabetic after a low blood sugar, do they need to change the clothes? Yes, sort of. I had a serious low. I passed out. The ambulance kind of cut off all my clothes and to do the exam, whatever. And I was discharged from emergency a couple of hours later, a few hours more than a couple, and I was able to go home. The hospital kind of dressed me, and I looked like Big Bird. Yellow pajama bottoms, blue socks, and a yellow kind of isolation gown. It was such the look. But nowadays I have a top and a pair of shorts. At least it's a quick acting that I could get dressed. To make things worse, I had to go see my endocrinologist, who was right across the street. She said, "Oh, well, I'll send you home by cab." Luckily, my friend was walking into emergency as I was leaving. We went to see her, and then he drove me home. But that could have all been avoided, an embarrassing situation, if I had had a change of clothes. So now I keep a change of clothes. If you want to get away for a weekend, in the trunk of your car, you could have a change of clothes, raring to go, a toiletry bag. All of this, time management comes down to planning. And if you take a look at the quadrant system of time management, if you type into your search bar and type time management quadrant system, there's 4 different quadrants. B is where you want yourself to be. No, you want a C. You want to B or C, depending on which model, actually. The planning stage. You always want to be planning. Now, people, even when I do this channel now, I make sure my topics are chose on a day of taping, and I know what we're going to discuss. I don't sit here in the morning and kind of go, oh, well, I'm just going to do this. With your diabetes care, you have one day, you can take a look at all your supplies, do your pharmacy order, call it in. I have talked about way back, there's a video on my channel called AIM, and you should take a look at that. Has nothing to do with shooting archery or guns. It's how to make sure you have enough stock to cover your deliveries that you need. Because how many of us have woken up, gone to the fridge and say, oh my God, I don't have any insulin. It's bad here. Sometimes I run out of insulin. Thank God I can just say to nurse, I need a bottle of insulin, and I get a bottle of insulin. That is allowing me better control. Is it 100% effective? No, but those who want more out of work or life, time management doesn't work 100%. It's a tool to utilize, and you really should utilize the tool yourself. So you could do Mondays, you could do your meal planning, Tuesdays your grocery shop, Wednesday pharmacy, or you could choose, okay, Saturday morning we're going to get that all lined, phone my order in and go pick it up. Or go pick it up later. Whatever works for you. Just make sure you have enough supplies or know how in an emergency. For years, I would have little files at different pharmacies all over the place, all over the Lower Mainland. And if I was in BC, I think I had a couple up north, It was all, oh, I forgot I need insulin, or I forgot to bring insulin. I have a story about that. When I was a Cub leader, Boy Scouts, on my honor, I promise to do my best to do my duty to God and the Queen, to help other people at all times and to live by the spirit of the Scout law. Okay, just to prove I was a Scout leader, Cub leader. We went away to a Cub camp, which was sort of up outside of Gibson's. And I went there and I unpacked everything and suddenly realized I didn't have my insulin or my needles. How does a diabetic do this? Well, this is before I learned time management and diabetes. So we ended up going to the local pharmacy just before it closed. The guy was able to give me a couple of bottles of insulin, and I was happy and was able to handle it until I got home. The funny thing was, I had a glucometer and test strips. So, time management is planning. And you want to plan your weeks to have some people cook all day Sunday and have meals for the whole week so they can come home from work. And a lot of us were exhausted or are exhausted after work. They could put a meal in. I, for many years, ordered a meal service that I would get, and I would take it for lunch with me. There were a few times I was eating Swanson TV dinners at work. And as such, my sodium levels went up, and there was so much in fat, so much in sugar. I wasn't being the adult at the time. But now, in my later working years, I became the adult. And the ironic thing was, I'd bring my meals to the store I worked at, and it was a major grocery chain. And I had all the food I needed to make a meal at work. But I brought my own little food. There were a couple of times we had a little emergency where someone, and they found out who on staff, was going into the fridge and stealing people's lunches. And once or twice I went up there thinking I had a meal, and I didn't have anything. I had to go. I saw the remnants in the garbage, so I had to go and buy my lunch. But I talked a bit about this in time management. You need to plan your day. Your diet, you should look at 90% of the time you are eating right, following your guidelines of your dietitian. 10% you can have whatever you like. Excuse me. So that kind of fits in fine there. But 90% of the time, do what you can in order to secure a good meal. choose a day to order your supplies. Come up with a system for ordering supplies that works for you. I could give you my goal and how well we order supplies, but that's not going to do it. So think about it. Order your supplies. Plan out your life as much as possible. Plan a getaway kit for if somebody says, hey, do you want to go away for the weekend? You've got your stuff. You can just come home, grab it, and go. Take your go kit. Things having it is a change of clothes, pump supplies, extra insulin, an extra glucometer, everything you need plus backup. For me, mine's in a black backpack. It's not totally jam full, but it could be. Time management plays so much of a role in achieving greatness, in gaining your control. And with that, have a super day, and we'll talk later. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.